What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. In just a few months, Nintendo's releasing their new system, the Switch, and already people are really excited for it. Before this comes out though, I would take a detailed look at why their current console failed so terribly. That statement might piss some people off, but just keep in mind, the Wii U is actually selling worse than the PlayStation Vita, and this is considered a giant flop for Sony. Okay, with that out of the way, let's put on our detectives hats and investigate the crime scene of this awesome device. On my picks for the top 10 reasons the Wii U failed so badly. Number 10. Weak hardware. Graphics really aren't that important overall. As long as your game has a cool art style, an interesting story, or is super fun to play, people will overlook the smaller flaws. Having strong hardware though means more than just how shiny stuff will render on your system. It also means that game developers can get more creative while designing projects because they have access to more engine options to build their vision. Since Nintendo's latest console was barely stronger than an Xbox 360, high-end game makers simply weren't excited about the idea of working with the same tools they'd already been using for nearly 10 years. It's essentially a system that wasn't really considered new technology, but wasn't quite outdated either. It was sorta just left in the middle and ended up being ignored. Number 9. Region Lockout. This one might seem like a minor problem, but let me explain why this was a key issue for many gamers. Every console that's out right now, other than the Wii U, is completely region-free. This makes it so you can order games from anywhere in the world and have them shipped to your house and play them easily on your system. That seems like a pretty obvious idea. Nintendo, on the other hand, felt that it was important to divide their markets, locking out anything not released in the country you bought your console. That means someone who lives in a place with stricter censorship laws, for example Australia, could be completely screwed if they just want to import something like the new Fatal Frame title from Europe because it would be totally unplayable. Despite millions of fans begging for this to be disabled so that they can enjoy games from around the world, Nintendo said no, which turned off a lot of people. Number 8. No third-party support. The golden rule for any piece of hardware to be successful is to flood the consumer with choices. Reward those who get your system with hundreds of awesome things to play. You need to make it so they genuinely have a hard time picking what to try first. It's here that Nintendo clearly made a devastating mistake early on during development of the Wii U. Typically, while you're putting the finishing touches on your console, you go to the largest game companies and give them a kit to start outlining projects they want to release. This allows designers time to craft truly great experiences that'll make your console stand out. Sadly, Nintendo made almost no effort to push developers to make anything for the Wii U. Even now, nearly half a decade later, there are less than 200 main titles in the entire library. Seriously, I wish I could ask one of their executives what the heck they were thinking. Number 7. The Gamepad Controller. Let me just start by saying that I really like the gamepad. The projects that actually use it do so in some really clever ways, like Affordable Space Adventures, which makes your pad into a control panel for your ship as you drive through some really cool puzzles. Unfortunately, very few dev teams ever came up with a smart way of using this device. Titles like Kirby and the Rainbow Curse had you drawing on the screen, but then did nothing with the TV, while things like Mario Kart just slapped a boring map on the gamepad and otherwise forgot about it. This sent a harsh message to those who bought the Wii U hoping for really unique stuff that would challenge you to think of gaming in new styles. In the end, the gamepad became a giant standard controller with a very short battery life when it could have been a gadget that truly pushed boundaries. Number 6. Lame Virtual Console. Part of the appeal of buying a Nintendo system is the mix of both great old school classics we can play digitally and also all the fresh concepts the guys over at headquarters are dreaming up. Somehow, the Wii U seems to have purposely dodged this brilliant balance for absolutely no reason. In case you didn't know, Nintendo has their own online store called the Virtual Console. This is how you can purchase the games you grew up with and play them on your new system. Here's the stupid problem though. They took forever to put many of their most famous franchises on the store, and even when they finally did get put on there, they were really overpriced. Why am I paying $10 for Mario Golf when they didn't bother programming it to have lag-free gameplay, and where are the Gamecube games? While Nintendo may have been some of the pioneers of the industry back in the 80s and 90s, seeing how they handle digital content now shows that they really don't understand the times. Number 5. Limited online play. In 2006, we got the original Nintendo Wii, and it was an instant breakout hit. Its mix of quirky, easy to understand games and fun party experiences like WarioWare made it quite the hot item. The issue is that the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were out during this same era, and they were laying the groundwork for modern online gaming as we know it today. Friends lists, dedicated servers for multiplayer shooters, and even MMOs like Final Fantasy XI were possible on these consoles. The Wii, unfortunately, had none of these features, but Nintendo promised that they'd make a better effort to include these kinds of elements in the Wii U, which sounds good, except they didn't do that at all. While there were some stellar online projects like Splatoon and Mario Maker, they still had about as many networking functions as a PS2 had. This left some gamers feeling very annoyed, since being able to goof around with buddies across the globe was now going to be extremely basic or sometimes even impossible to do. Number 4. Bad launch games. Perhaps the most important aspect of making sure your console goes on to become an explosive bestseller is mapping out the opening lineup of fantastic games. This establishes that everyone who sees your product on store shelves will want to grab it, and as many titles as they can afford. Sadly, by release day, Nintendo was only able to get 32 games ready, which seems decent until you realize that nearly all of them were ports of older games from existing systems. Assassin's Creed 3, Black Ops 2, and Just Dance 4 aren't exactly projects you want to show off how great your new console is, but that's really all they could get, since many companies still weren't ready to trust Nintendo enough to develop games solely for the Wii U. The people who did, however, for example the makers of Zombie U, had such horrible sales that they ended up porting their stuff back over to major consoles down the road. I honestly believe that if they just had 2 or 3 truly killer games at launch like Super Mario Ultimate RPG or Luigi's Mansion Wii U Edition, it could have boosted its popularity and maybe completely saved the console. Number 3. Not listening to fans. Feedback is vital in any business, whether it be a YouTuber attempting to grow his subscribers or a gaming studio looking to expand its profit. You need to listen carefully to what fans are saying to know what you need to change and where you need to improve. Nintendo is the absolute worst at this. No matter how loud or how often their followers asked for help, they were flatly ignored. When people mentioned a slight price cut to boost console sales, the executives laughed. When they pleaded for the ability to have Nintendo accounts be transferable between Wii U's in case one breaks so you don't have to rebuy everything, headquarters refused. And when fans just begged for more games in general, they were met with a stunning silence. Nintendo never listened to a single suggestion, no matter how good it was. Just look at Star Fox Zero. All anyone wanted was the option for a normal control style that didn't require us moving our gamepad like a silly joystick, and the developers replied, "Nah, you just gotta get used to it." This made many of us realize that Nintendo doesn't really care what we think, for better or for worse. Number 2. No Metroid or Zelda. These two series have really been an anchor for gamers to learn about each Nintendo console. Both Zelda and Metroid can be as serious or goofy as the designers want them to be and still be beloved. Link has gone on dark adventures in Twilight Princess, but also done some colorful exploration in Skyward Sword. Each time we got another entry in these franchises, we discovered a little bit more about how amazing a Nintendo system could be, and it encouraged other developers to try new ideas. Metroid Prime on its own proved the fact that the Gamecube could have awesome first-person shooters, while at the same time, Metroid Fusion established that the Game Boy was still the king of handheld devices. For some bizarre reason, we never got an original Zelda or Metroid on the Wii U, which was extremely disappointing and left the system overall feeling less grounded. It's true we got a lot of ports of older Zelda games, but there was nothing that perfectly flaunted the raw power of the Wii U and explained to the world just how incredible this system could be. Number 1. That terrible name. Good branding can be a very, very difficult thing. You need people to instantly know what your game is and how it plays as soon as they hear the title. This is done by advertising properly and having an easily recognizable name. In this way, the Wii U screwed up on basically every level. During E3 2011, Reggie Fils-Aimé came out on a stage with a tiny tablet and announced that this would be the Wii U, the sequel to the Wii. To the ultra-hardcore gamers like us, we understood that this was one part of a totally new console, but to the casual market, this came off as a simple add-on to the Wii. A cool product needs a strong name to make it stand out. Final Fantasy is a title that conveys that players are going on a powerful quest. Resident Evil is a name that describes that in this world, even our neighbors could be our enemies. The Wii U, unfortunately, just has a title that says, yeah, this is a Wii, but now with new stuff you can do. During my research for this video, I compared the Google search results of what is the Wii U versus Wii U cost in an effort to see how many consumers are interested in buying it rather than just being confused as to what it is. The results, as you can see, are staggering. Clearly, no one even knew what this thing was from the day it launched, and for that reason, I'm awarding this my pick as the biggest reason the Wii U failed so badly. Did your favorite cause of catastrophe not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Hey, go follow me on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, go over there. You'll find out what reviews I'm doing next, rough ideas of what top 10 I'm working on, and all sorts of little tidbits like that. Many of you already are, but I'm just trying to break like 5,000 Twitter followers as fast as possible. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. Go follow me on Twitter. Now I'm going to go play PlayStation Vita. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.